Okay, so there's the old buzzsaw. I think my grandfather bought this brand new, I think. So there's the old buzzsaw we use around here. I got a scar on above my eye from this saw the other year, cutting wood with my dad. Tractor mounted. And my dad built this, not too many years ago. The steel is all from, they're renovating a superstore or some big store there up in town. So this is all old steel they hauled, all the red painted steel. He just had to go up and get it for free. So he had a bunch of big I-beams and a bunch of steel. So just the price of hauling it from town, you got that. And those lift cylinders are from an old John Deere 1010 dozer. It's one of those loader dozers there. It's got the bucket and the loader on it. So that's the lift cylinders off that. And then there's the gearbox and everything off the old bush cutter. I don't know, I might have had to buy some gearboxes, I'm not sure. But there's an old bush cutter that was just here at the farm. Got a big rock in there for a counterweight. And that's a bush cutter for cutting bushes, cutting the side of the laneway. Instead of driving the tractor through the ditch, it sets the bush cutter off to the side. He was looking at buying them, but they're expensive, so he just gathered up the parts and built one. See, so you can tip it up like that. You can cut bushes like that if you want to, I guess, to cut bushes on the side of the trail, and then cut her down for cutting bushes out of the ditch. Pretty cool. There's lots of inventions around here, but I'm just going to show you a couple. There's the old timber jack. Big hydraulic pump on the front of her. This one's a little gas jobby, but years ago he kept having problems with head gaskets. And he got the head planed and this and that, and the old gas engine, we just always had problems with it. So he pulled the gas out and put a little Perkins diesel in her. And I know I got my crappy camera because my good one's blown out. The old scratch lens. But see, you just spin around in the seat there. Turn on the controls. Got the outriggers. Got a homemade trailer for it. And this, back years ago, my dad didn't put that loader onto it. He put the motor in it, but he didn't put the loader on it. Someone else built it, but this has been here all my life. It's a pretty cool unit. So back in the day when he bought this, all they were logging with was a little farm tractor. So this was kind of a lifesaver here, or a game changer, I guess. The old jack. He uses her still every year for cutting his firewood. He doesn't log much anymore, or at all anymore, but he still hauls his firewood with it. This is all that's, he had a cat excavator, I think a 215 cat, and this was the head for it. It took about an 18-inch log, and they had a great big heavy duty bar, they had a big hard nosed bar with a great big chain. He took that off and put this smaller bar and chain on it, right? Made an adapter bracket here and got the smaller chain on it, got it working better. It's a stroke head, so there's that set of clams there, right? Because it's they cut the wood 8 foot, so it was a full 8 foot stroke. Here's the front part. See, there's your stroke. See, you got your clam there with the spikes on it. That grabs the trees, pulls it through, and the inside one limbs it. So it pulls the limbs off and bucks it up in 8 foot lengths. There's the boom off the old machine. The old machine burnt, and this is what he kept off it. So that's, yeah, just a couple of things I thought some of you guys would be pretty interested in. There's lots more stuff around here, but I guess I'll just show some of the highlights. Got my little Yamaha four-wheeler here. Had this for years. Keep it back at my parents' place. So when I come home, I got something to run around on. Just changing the back axle bearings in her here. Since there's no snow on the ground, they had snow, but it all melted, so.
Okay, the lighting's horrible here. I think this is a 520. So it'll be the same chassis as my 535, just a bit smaller displacement. And that there I'm quite certain that this is the saw. And once I got old enough to start working in the woods a bit and running the saw in the woods, I think this was the saw. I think it was the first saw that I really ran in the woods, but not too much, because I was just getting that age when I moved away, like I mentioned before. But I did used to run this saw in the woods a little bit back in the day, and I loved it. And here's a cool saw. I don't know where the saw. I think this was my brother's saw, maybe. I don't remember. I don't know where the saw came from, but it's sweet. It's 2051. I believe those are the series of saws that are like ripper fast RPM saws, like 14,000 RPM saws, and it's sweet. This one's, all these saws here have been heavily used. Like this here is, I don't know what they're from. They're from like the early 90s. These saws, the mid 90s or something, so they're old. So all these saws got, like, they're all just sacked out. They're old saws. There, so you see this saw, how the cases kind of match up this way, just like this one. They match up this way. And this one here is more indicative of a modern saw where the cases match up this way. So these are really cool old saws. This saw, I think, just a bit bigger than this saw, but like that saw would eat that saw for lunch. That thing's a ripper. There you go. Got the old school spike hole muffler mods on them. What they both have. Ooh. They both have that partner influenced anti-vibe system on them, you see? They both kind of got that similar style. But this one here, this is a John Surratt Turbo, one of the first John Surratt Turbos, the turbo air cleaning system. And this is kind of a, this has a bit of a rarity, and I guess that one is kind of too. But they only made them for a little while. But they were like rippers. And then I think later on they built this one to replace it, which is the 2055. But I don't think this was ever near the saw that this 2051 was. So that's pretty cool, man. And there's the old legendary 630. You notice how these saws got whips on them? Because, see, short bars and whips, because it's not real big wood we're into here in this country. And it all gets cut 8 foot. So you set up your whip so your saw is 4 feet long. So 2 saw lengths, that's your 8 foot block, and that's how you measure it in the bush. And see, like, the handles are wider out this side on saws. It's got that little side thing. And this one, see, it's out. And a lot of companies have been going that they call it a foot pad to put your foot for starting, but they're not. I was always under the impression that these side flares are to a spot to bolt your whip on. And that's how we roll in this part of the country. So like, yeah, 50 to 60 cc class saws, 16, 18 inch bars with a whip. That's so, people talk about saws are logging saws and not logging saws and whatever, and it's gotta be 70 cc's plus, and it depends where you live. If you live in a place with great big wood or great big hardwood and stuff, yeah, you need the big saws, but you're wasting your time in this small thick woods. You wouldn't want any more than an 18-inch bar because it's just cumbersome. And like a little ripper saw like this, or my dad just used to love this 630. He said that was probably his favorite saw he ever had, was 630 right there. And that's the pro saws for this neck of the woods, because that's the type of wood that we're in. So that's, there you go. That's why I love John Surratts, because these are the saws of my youth. This one, and this one, and then later on this one. And I think we got that one from my neighbor, and it was never really any good, I don't think. And see, they don't run spikes here either. It's all just flat bumper spikes. There we go, boys. Eastern Canada chainsaws. Boy, snow over. It's a windy day here in the Maritimes. I was supposed to fly out today, but my flight got canceled, so I was heading to town to get a snowmobile part that I had ordered. Fly out tomorrow.